I know your name, I know you great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Shalonda Deborah, and welcome back to the All Things Unraveled podcast. I hope you guys are having a good day, or a good morning, or a good night. I don't know what time you're watching this, but I hope you're doing good, okay? I'm doing good too. I had a pretty productive day, which, I thank the Lord for it because I've been lacking, okay? I've been lacking in just being productive in general and being organized. I don't know about y'all, but I just can't function without a schedule. I can't function without just being organized and having all my stuff, my tasks laid out in front of me. Anywho, other than that, I've been really good just doing what I'm supposed to be doing, okay? I'm really glad to be here today to wrap up, y'all. We're finally wrapping up the mini friendship series that I've started 3 episodes ago. Okay, I don't know when I actually started recording it, but for those who might be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I started a mini series that revolved around friendships, in which I invited people on this podcast, and me and the people featured, we unravel different aspects of friendships, like toxic friendships and friendship breakups and friendships with benefits, and it was a pretty short series, but I didn't want it to be too long because it was my first one too, I didn't want it to be too long, but I still wanted it to be powerful and have some kind of impact and bring some kind of awareness, And I think I managed to do that. I don't know. Y'all let me know. What did you guys think of this mini series and just the concept, right? Like, I would love to know. I would love to know what you guys thought, and if you liked it, if you didn't, if you have some suggestions. Girl, I want to hear it all, okay? I want to hear it all. Those were such beautiful conversations I had with all the people featured, okay? I did not expect it to go this way. There've been some little not ups and downs, but more like little issues here and there with like me and my questions and all. I wish, God took care of it and still made it work out. So props to him. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, let's do a little recap. Let's just go back a little bit and tell y'all what were my major L's, okay? Not L's as in like losses, but learnings, okay? We switching things up here. My major L's for each one of those episodes, starting with friendship breakups. And my special guest for that episode was Lorraine. In that episode, we basically touched on a friendship breakup, the way we both perceive this whole friendship breakup thing, what makes it a friendship breakup, how to navigate through a friendship breakup, because I feel like we're mostly centered on romantic relationships than friendships in general. But what we lived, our friendship breakup was real, was rough, was tough, and it was a whole process, a whole journey. And so we unraveled that aspect of friendship based on our experiences. And so my major learning, y'all, for this conversation that I had with Lorraine on friendship breakups is that some breakups are there to teach you lessons, and there are others that are there to build your character. Finding what that thing is for your breakup, that learning or that character trait that needed to be built, or that thing that you needed to let go of. Everything that happens in our lives, our experiences, I've mentioned this, I'm pretty sure. Whether they go well or they don't, you take the good, you take the lessons, and you move on. And it's the same thing in friendship breakups, but it's just more deep in friendship breakups because you have to understand and try to find what was it? What was I supposed to learn through that breakup? You have to understand what God is trying to teach you through that breakup. And there's always something. And that was my major L for that episode. And there was the second episode where I had Alicia, and me and Alicia touched on toxic friendships. Okay, that was also a very interesting conversation, okay? Because we was here talking about how me and her had a toxic relationship, and in that toxic relationship, what we share, me and Alicia share with you the ups and the downs, and in which ways our relationship was toxic and for whom. And once I realized that it was a toxic relationship, what was the thought process? How was the discontentment communicated? And what was the intention behind it? And we exchanged on different ways to tackle a toxic relationship, a toxic friendship rather. So you got to deal with those situations wisely, choose your words wisely, with the timing. How do you approach that person and tell them that you're being toxic? All of that. We touched on all of that in that episode. And so my major L for that conversation with Alicia is that finding the courage to communicate and to express your discontentment in a toxic relationship will lead to breakthrough on both sides. You know, change only takes place once action is taken. If the burden in the relationship has become too heavy for you to bear, take action, voice that, but always with the intention to lead that person away from their toxic patterns, and not with just the selfish intention to let that person know that you're stepping away from the relationship for the sake of your own well-being. We love our well-being. We love being good. We love feeling good. We love being mentally stable and in good environments. We love that. But we also love that for other people, don't we? Like, don't we want that for other people? I don't know about y'all, but I do, right? And so in situations like these, you want to come up to that person and tell her the real, but with the intention to not make her a better person, because you can't do that, but letting her know where she messed up or where she needs to do better in which area, so she can work on that on her own time. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Yeah. And the last episode was friendships with benefits with Ivana. Oh, that episode was so hilarious. Like, I really enjoyed being there with her, and it was just so natural, and the conversation just flowed. And in that episode, we basically unraveled friendship with benefits in a different angle than, the regular friendship with benefits that we know. So like the friendships in which you're in where it's one-sided, basically. Those relationships can really be tricky, y'all, just to be in. And once you realize that, okay, that person was using me, it could be tough as well. It could be really tough. And so we touched on big points like clarifying the status of your friendship, just like you do in your relationships. We touched on the pain that comes with finding out that people were using you, that they were not being as honest as they said they were, or you thought they were. And I think in that episode, we really just challenged the meaning of privacy, and just encouraging y'all to find what that is to you, like your level of privacy and your boundaries in your relationships. In each episode, y'all, there's a bit of everything. Like we go from friendships to men to work issues, school issues, and we talk about everything, but we try to stay mainly focused on one thing. Well, I try to, because yeah. And my major L for that episode, y'all, honestly, in order to avoid getting yourself into a potentially harmful situation, you have to be able to analyze everything revolving that situation. Analyzing the situation will help you understand and see the entirety of what you're about to get yourself into. And then once you have that vision and that clarity, you'll be able to make decisions accordingly, And it's Ivana that mentioned it. When she said that, it was really like mind-blowing for me, honestly, because I don't do that. I mean, I'm aware that I should be doing that, but for some reason, y'all, let's be honest, I tend to make the worst choices. We're working on that. Okay, I used to, because now we're changing our ways. But I still a little bit have a tendency to not make the best choices. And why? she made me realize that it's because, girl, you don't take the time to analyze the situation, the circumstance in which you're in. And she was talking about, if someone asks you to go get pizza, you got to analyze, okay, they're asking me to go get pizza. The pizza is 15 minutes away from my house. What am I doing right now? I'm doing homework that's due for tomorrow. Okay, so no, I can't go because if I do this now, then I'll be late and will submit my homework later than expected. And it's little things like this. It sounds normal because that's something that we should be doing on a regular basis, but I don't really do that. I don't really do that because I always feel like I can make everything work, but the reality of it is, no, you can't. And you can make your life easier by just analyzing, assess the situation, assess the circumstances, and what will happen if you get into that situation and what will happen if you don't. And so that was my major L. The purpose of this mini series, y'all, was to create awareness. Well, not that I'm creating it, but I'm like sharing it kind of, because, you know, someone already created awareness on this subject, but to share the complexity of friendships. There's so much more that we didn't touch on, right? That goes into friendships. And I did this with the goal to promote healthy habits in friendships, like communication and acceptance and forgiveness. And what else did we talk about? Acknowledgement. Yeah. My goal was really to pull out those positive things you can do to in those tricky situations. And I hope that I did that while we unraveled all these different topics. We gonna keep this video short, okay? I did a poll on Instagram and on All Things Unraveled. If you don't follow me, that's where everything is happening, keeping y'all updated and sharing weekly. Okay, weekly. We're being consistent. Yeah, can I get a round of applause? Okay. That's for me, okay? I deserve it. I've been really consistent on this podcast, and yeah, I'm proud of myself. And so I got some answers. I only got 2 though, which I'm really grateful for. I would love to make this a routine, maybe not for every series, but just in some episodes, but just to include you guys in it, with your questions or with topics that you want me to touch on. I feel like it's our job to make it our space, and so don't be shy. Let's get into those questions. The first one being, what everyone perceives as a best friend to be. What if you don't like to call that person and tell them every single thing? Does this mean you are not best friends? Okay, so the first portion of this is what everyone perceives a best friend to be. I feel like the general perception of a best friend is like that girl, your plus one, with whom you go everywhere with, like you guys are always together, do everything together, the person to whom you tell all your business to, and vice versa. And yeah, that person with whom you have like just a strong bond, and that person that you love the most on earth, because that's like your best friend. Like it's the best one. Why? I don't know. We all have our different reasons. But I feel like that's like a fairy tale version of a best friend. Like it's just not reality. And to continue off of what you said, what if you don't like to call that person and to tell them every single thing? Does this mean you are not best friends? No. That does not mean that you are not best friends. And I'm going to tell you why. To kind of piggyback on what I said about that general perception of best friends being a fairy tale version of best friends. The more you grow, the less time you have, really, okay? Let's be real. And that's not even intentional. It's just life, okay? And we all go through different phases of life in different times. And so the nature of your relationship with your best friend will change over time. And it's the love within that friendship that will help you both meet in the middle, really. Okay. And so, no, you don't have to be calling your best friend every single day or texting her every single day, because like people got stuff to do, first of all. And second of all, like that might be just a character trait of yours. Maybe you don't like being on the phone for too long. That's me. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't enjoy being on the phone for too long. Like I avoid that. Okay, I always feel like I don't have enough time to do what I have to do. And so when I do receive phone calls, for me, it's like, okay, now you're like forcing me to squeeze you into my agenda. And I don't know if that sounds selfish, but it's like, I want to be able to speak with you and be comfortable. I don't want to be speaking with you knowing that I have all these things on my list to complete today. That's just me. And my best friend knows this. And we're kind of like, we're the same, to be honest. You have to understand why you're like this. Why don't you enjoy texting your friend every day or being on the phone every day and telling them every single thing? Do you want to be that person? Is that something that bothers you? If, all these little things you need to understand so you can express that to your best friend. Let her know that that's how I am, that's where I stand. But depending on her response, you might have to make some adjustments. You can't expect your best friend to stick by you if you're going to remain in your position and not make any adjustments to accommodate her or him also in that relationship. That's just not fair. So that's my answer. I hope I answered it well. So the next one is how to maintain healthy friendships. So that's a long one. I think I have like 5 minutes left, but let's get into this. How do you maintain a healthy friendships? Honestly, the foundation of it, the intentions of each individual coming into that friendship will help. The intentions on both sides have to be pure, have to be good. They have to be honorable. They have to be loving, right? Good intentions from the start. The way you're going to show up in a friendship and the actions you're going to take and the things you're going to say in that friendship are always going to be based on that foundation, with the goal of loving the person, being honest with that person, whatever the intentions are, okay? Has to be good. And also balance is a big thing in friendships, right? This will help you maintain a good and healthy friendship because you don't want to be the oversharer in your relationship. You don't want to be the overcompensator. You don't want to be the over nothing, okay? We want 50-50, and it's not always going to be 50-50 because I might be feeling really low today and I might really not be in a good space to support you today, so I might not be able to give my 50%, and that's where compromise comes in, and you're gonna have to maybe give 60 because I'm at 40. I can do math. you're gonna have to give more. You're gonna have to pour more into me on this day just because I can't meet you where you're at. And so finding that balance and knowing when you need to show up and give a little bit more in that relationship for that other person. And when you need more, what do? You communicate, you express that. And so that's a big thing as well. Communication, as if I was good at that. No, we're trying every single day. We're trying, expressing your emotions and letting the people around you know where you're at to create a better environment for everyone. Letting things out in the air clears the path, and it leaves place for solutions to be found and people to be happy and at peace. Okay. At peace, big thing. And so I think that's like the major things that I would say. There's so much more that you can do to make your relationship healthy. Okay, so much more. But I really think it all goes back to balance, communication, and what's the first thing I said? Y'all? I said balance, I said communication, and I said the intentions. Okay. Wasn't too far. Knowing that you need to do those things and make sure that, those things are on rotation will help you show up in that friendship in a healthy way, which will make it healthy eventually. But not eventually, but yeah. So, yeah. This is my answer to this question. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this episode. It was short and sweet. Well, not as short as I planned, but it was still short for me, okay? Thank you all beautiful people for tuning into this episode. I will see you all on the next episode of All Things Unraveled.
I know your name, I know you great. Yeah.